Hey, welcome to the table. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the Heralds of Galactus. How does that tie into everything? We'll get to it. I saw the Silver Surfer movie, well, Fantastic Four movie. I saw the Fantastic Four movie, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. Pun. Not intentional either. But I thought it was really rad. I really, really enjoyed it. I think, having some time, because I saw it a couple of weeks ago, having some time away from it, I think it still is probably my favorite Marvel movie. I really love Blade 2. I love the commentary of Blade 2. I think Guillermo del Toro's commentary is one of my favorite things in the world. It's kind of the reason that I love physical media still, is because you get those sort of extras and you don't get them like if you buy it on a streaming service. And Del Toro has some really cool film insight, and I like the way that he talks and the way he thinks. So Blade 2, right? Probably Blade 2 is my favorite, but followed up after that, this new Fantastic Four movie, which features Galactus and the Silver Surfer. Why am I talking about comic stuff? Because my pals at WizKids sent me the Heralds of Galactus, HeroClix Iconics box set. And this thing is rad. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's big. Love that classic Galactus art. It also has a really cool window box with some Velcros. Beautiful art, and it's got some HeroClix in it. So inside this box set, there's 6 of the Heralds of Galactus. So there's Nova, there's Airwalker, Firelord, the Silver Surfer, Terrax, and Morg. Right, I'm looking over because it's right there. But yeah, just to verify, Morg's in there. Morg the Executioner. I grew up reading Silver Surfer. I remember pulling Silver Surfer books off of spinner racks in grocery stores and like 7-Elevens before I had access to like a comic shop and stuff. So really young me. And I remember really being fascinated by the concept of the Silver Surfer, and he was in this servitude to this cosmic god-like entity that ate and devoured worlds, and it was sort of Silver Surfer gave himself to Galactus so that his world would be saved. And I really liked the nobility in that. I thought that was really cool. Even as a little kid, it felt like, Arthurian or mythological in some way. Because comics, man, they make me happy. There are modern myths. There are modern folklore. Especially when I was a kid, I remember like Ghost Rider, Silver Surfer. Those were 2 of the big ones for me. Spider-Man, occasionally. There would be some Spider-Man. Lots of Batman in the mix. Elseworlds, I really liked those when those were dropping. But those books were kind of monumental, informative. I love comics. And so, HeroClix is, I don't get to really play as much, but I do love collecting them because they're cool little minis. I have lots of minis on the shelves, all around the office. And I really like these Iconics box sets that WizKids does, because they're very cool. They're very display friendly. Like even the sort of side standees here, you get your heralds, and they just look good. They look good on the shelf. So who are these heralds, right? Well, what's their deal? So Airwalker is this guy. He's got the flames on the back. Sort of his little skirty costume, the cowl with the shirtless, or the sleeveless shirt with a little sunburst in the front. And he was sort of who Galactus grabbed as a replacement for Silver Surfer. And Airwalker was Galactus's buddy. He was his friend. He sort of he was prone to wanderlust, and he was a member of the Nova Corps at one point, but really he was just sort of this dude. And Galactus gave him the power cosmic, and he got like way stronger, because power cosmic is like as a monumental thing, man. And Galactus was just like, himself. He was this cold, sort of distant eater of life. And over time, Airwalker just sort of became his bud. And eventually, Airwalker actually sacrifices himself. There's a fleet of alien warships that are trying to take down Galactus, who's weak from hunger. And Airwalker kind of throws himself in the way and gets obliterated. And so Galactus, of course, like brings him back in like an android form, right? Because that's the thing you do. Nobody's really ever dead in comics, at least in the Marvel universe. And so he gets brought back as this android, and he doesn't have his like lust for life and his wanderlust and stuff anymore. So Airwalker he gets lost in his in lack of headspace, I guess. And so Galactus just sends him to Earth, and he's like, "Bring Silver Surfer back to me. maybe he'll be, more of a companion, because like I need a herald and somebody to talk to in these giant gulfs of space and time or whatever. And Silver Surfer and the Fantastic Four beat the brakes off of Airwalker. And I think I don't know what happened to him after that point. I didn't read any more about him. He's not come up in anything I've read. So what I remember is just sort of Airwalker getting left on Earth as sort of this discarded android that was built in the likeness of a guy that was Galactus's buddy. He's one of the minis in here. Very cool. The Firelord is in here. I am a fan of Firelord. Firelord was the first non-Silver Surfer herald that I remember. Firelord was this explorer, and Galactus makes him his herald, and after Airwalker's death, and he gives him the power cosmic. And Firelord serves Galactus. He's got he's on fire. He's got the flaming head and the little deep V. He's got a flaming baton. I remember thinking Q-tips, right? You put a marker into a Q-tip and it like bleeds out, makes it red, and then do orange and then yellow. I remember doing that as a little kid and making little Firelord weapons because stuff was expensive. Stuff is expensive now. And I just really liked that his little flaming stick weapon. It also very much reminded me of American Gladiators, which was this goofball show where people played against these really tough men and women in outfits that were very superhero-esque. And there was a game that they played on like pedestals where they fought with these sticks. They were essentially giant Q-tips. Firelord's got a flaming giant Q-tip as his weapon. And he eventually stopped being Galactus's herald, and he went off to do his own thing, and him and Silver Surfer had kind of a contentious relationship. They were friends sometimes. They were not friends sometimes, but all in all, like, he was a neat character, visually very striking, very cool. And then there's Terrax the Tamer. So Terrax the Tamer, right? Terrax, great looking character. I remember him being very iconic when I was a kid. He has like a pointy axe head thing, the red and bluish black, like sort of tabard with yellow accents, stone-like skin. Terrax's deal was he was this guy named Tyros, and Tyros was like this tyrannical dictator, and he kind of had a chokehold on a planet, and Galactus was kind of tired of Airwalker and Silver Surfer being more like reluctant heralds, so he wanted somebody a little bit more vicious. So he was like, this dude seems vicious. I'm gonna take him and I'm gonna forcibly give him the power cosmic. You should ask for consent before you give anybody the power cosmic. Like, kids, just don't go giving godlike abilities to people without their consent. Don't do anything to anybody without their consent, okay? You just don't. So Tyros becomes Terrax the Tamer. And he just becomes this megalomaniacal, like, space bad guy. And he goes from planet to planet being a space bad guy and just sort of being a jerk. And eventually Galactus figures out that Terrax wants to kill him. And he's like, I need a herald that's going to stick with me and be cool with me. And you're not the guy. And so he strips the power cosmic away from him, leaving, Terrax now Tyrosing in on the verge of death. And Galactus is so hungry and like just sort of weak at this point that he almost dies. And Reed Richards, being Reed Richards, steps in and saves him. Because that's what Reed Richards does. He saves planet-eating giant monster dudes. I don't know why he did it. I would have probably done it. But there would have had to been some rules in place, because Galactus needs to stop eating planets full of people or living things. That's problematic. So this box also has Nova. Who's Nova? So Nova was named Frankie Ray, and Nova was dating Johnny Storm, the Human Torch of the Fantastic Four. So Nova's dating Johnny Storm, and Galactus is impossibly weak, and Reed Richards has just saved his life. And Frankie wants to leave Earth. She wants this cosmic odyssey, which I totally get. I mean, if you're dealing with being able to rocket through space, immortal, the power cosmic makes you, godlike in power, and you want to do all that cool stuff, of course you're going to rock around any way you can. And Frankie didn't have a problem being selfish. She was like, I will be your herald, Galactus. I want to get out of Earth, and possibly I want to get out of dating Johnny Storm. guy. I've always kind of felt like that's why she did it. I mean, and Reed and Johnny are problematic, but that's not a story for now. So she's like, I want to leave. Galactus is like, I need a herald. I appreciate that you're selfish. Silver Surfer was too noble. Terrax wanted to kill me. Fire Lord, he was a problem. Airwalker became a robot guy. So like, let's see if this will work. So he gives her the power cosmic. She gets, essentially a shiny golden body and a long flowing fire hair, which is rad, right? It's a great look, especially in comic books. It looked really awesome. And she bops off with Galactus and starts finding him energy-rich worlds. And one of them is like the Skrull homeworld, because she's a menace. And eventually, like, her and the Silver Surfer start a relationship. And the Surfer eventually gets her to admit that, like, she would give Earth to Galactus, and then she feels guilty about that, and then she goes through some emotional turmoil. And eventually Galactus is like, this isn't going to work, because you clearly have, like, a soul and are a person deep down underneath the power cosmic, and you realize that, like, this powerful gift you've been given comes with this horrible cost. So he dismisses her from his service, and he gets this dude named Morg the Executioner, because of course he does. So Morg the Executioner is this sort of merciless herald. Like, Galactus is finally like, I got somebody who's not gonna care. So he finds this dude named Morg the Executioner. He gives him the power cosmic, making himself like even more powerful. Morg was already pretty powerful, and Morg is like vicious, like way more vicious than anybody else that's worked for Galactus up until this point. And he's just sort of when Galactus gives you the power cosmic, right? It kind of feels like it brings out the worst in you. It makes you, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. So Morg is already awful. So now he's just really awful. He's just kind of a jerk. And he goes off, and I think he kills Nova at one point, because of course he does. And I don't remember if she stays dead or not, but I have memory that he does, like, in fact, actually kill her. And then at one point, like, the Ultimate Nullifier, which is this gadget that Reed invented that, like, is a super MacGuffin weapon. Like, you blast something with it and it's gone. Like, I think at some point, like, the Ultimate Nullifier blasts Galactus and takes Morg out in the process, and so, like, he's kind of gone. And maybe he comes back. I don't remember, but I remember at the time it was like, okay. And Morg is, like, gnarly looking. He's got, like, this patchy skin. He's also got an axe, but it's not the same axe that Terrax had. But it is what it is. And that was very entertaining, to me. I always thought Morg was like a gnarly space zombie guy. I just liked him. It's like the progression of the heralds, right? They get weirder until you get to Morg, and there's been more. And then of course there's the iconic Herald of Galactus, the Silver Surfer. This box set version is the male version, Norrin Radd. Norrin Radd does pretty much the same thing. Spoilers, if you haven't seen the Fantastic Four, I'm going to talk about that movie in a second. So the Norrin Radd does the same thing that the female version of the Silver Surfer does. In the new Fantastic Four movie, Galactus comes to the planet. Norrin Radd says, "Hey, don't eat my planet. Like, people I love are here. Please don't do that." And Galactus says, "Well, I need a herald, and I'll give you the power cosmic." So he takes this bald guy in very, like, 60s, 70s, like, clothing, and he zaps him with power cosmic, makes his body out of silver, gives him a magical surfboard to fly through space, which is amazing. Like, what a great, goofy thing to give somebody. Like, here you go, bud. I'm gonna give you a cosmic surfboard. We're not on Earth. I have not been to Earth yet as Galactus because I would eat Earth. So, like, that means that some other society in space at some point developed a surfboard as, like, a thing, which is brilliant. Like, why not? Of course they did. That's awesome. It makes me so happy. Like, what a goofy thing to happen. And that's what I love about comic books, and I think that's why I really liked the new Fantastic Four movie. Because, like, yeah, it's Silver Surfer. There's not paramilitary stuff. It was retro future. It was beautiful. It was a lot of funny, cool things that were happening. It was really, at its core, it's about family. And I really liked the movie. Had a great time at it. And saw it with one of my favorite people in the world. And, like, it's a fun movie. So, like, the Silver Surfer in this really fun HeroClix Iconics box set. He's got the purple cosmic wave behind him, and he's in his little surfing position, and all the HeroClix that come in this set are the Heralds of Galactus. And there's a giant Galactus figure. I don't have that one. There's a giant Galactus HeroClix, that you can add to your mix and have your whole setup. And I think if I had him, I would put him in one of my display boxes with all his heralds around him, because I think that would be neat and it'd be a nice visual. And it harkens back to me reading these comics as a kid, and I love that that's the thing that HeroClix does for me. We don't have a lot of stores in the area that are accessible, so a lot of times my HeroClix collection just ends up being like cool stuff for me to look at. It's fun stuff for me to play with, and this Heralds of Galactus set is that, right? You can totally table it. There's the cards and stuff that you need to play out of the box are right here. Everything you need to play with this box is right here. But it's also just grad for display pieces, and that makes me super happy, because as a fan of the old school Power Cosmic comics, like, this cover's very new. It looks very new to me. But this back, man, this is what it is. This is the stuff that brings me joy, that Kirby crackle. This is just a goofy space opera nonsense makes me really smile, because it's like comics aren't scared to be comics. And these characters' costumes are goofy, and they're not scared to be goofy. They lean into it. And there's just such a joy that's there. There's just such a pure and honest fun that's happening here. Yeah, it just makes me happy. So I hope you find something that makes you happy today as well. We'll talk again soon, okay? Take care. There's a giant